Well, hello there. Today we're going to talk about my past, present, and future of books. I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, this shirt I'm wearing? Yes, bookish things and weird stuff. If you've ever watched one of my videos before, at the end of every video I say, come back and see me again. We'll talk about bookish things and weird stuff. I have merch now. If you'd like to check it out, there's a link down below. There's a ton of different colors. This is like a tank top. I'm very pale. I don't want to show you my upper arms, whatever. I have problems. There are t-shirts, tank tops, mugs, stickers, bags, and all that good stuff. So anyways, on to the books. Let's get into it. Recently, I had finished the book Mosaic by Catherine McCarthy. This is a indie horror, and it's about this woman, Robin Griffiths, and she goes to restore this stained glass window in this old church. It's this church of Saint Sanin, and nobody seems to know about who this weird saint is or anything about it or the church's history, and the townsfolk kind of like are super hush-hush and keep quiet, and the librarian is just straight up rude and doesn't want to help, and a lot of like weird stuff is going on, and then like weird stuff starts happening in the church and what's down in the crypt, and it's very atmospheric. It's like a chill horror book. And it was quite a fun read. And then, to my chagrin, that's right, I used the word chagrin, I started reading Tomb of Sand. And that is by Gitanjali Shree. It won last year's Booker Prize. I made it to page 340. It's like 600 pages long. I had to DNF it. I just couldn't handle it. It's definitely not for everyone. It wasn't for me. And I was kind of bummed out. I mean, it's like swirling, whirling, poetic, lyrical, but it feels like the person who wrote it has severe ADHD, because you're got a little bit of a story, but then everything is like squirrel, rabbit, let's talk about this family butterfly. It kept going so like off track, and I couldn't handle the schizophrenicness of it, and I was like, oh, I was at first really determined to read it, and it's very beautiful. The writing is beautiful, like the imagery is beautiful, and then sometimes it slags. I couldn't do it because I just really wasn't enjoying it, and I was forcing it on myself. And you know, if I feel like I have to force something on myself, I don't want to read that. If I'm miserable just trying to like get through something, it's not worth the sludge. And I may revisit it at another point in time. Maybe I just wasn't in the headspace for it, but unfortunately DNF'd Tomb of Sand. Kind of a bummer. Anywho, currently I am reading The Welllived Life by Gladys McGarey. It is the 102-year-old doctor's 6 secrets to health and happiness at any age. This just appeals to my hippie heart. You know, I love reading books about health and wellness, and so stuff like this. She's like the mother of holistic medicine. She's still alive at 102, which is amazing. Her outlook on life and positivity and just how to approach things with a different mindset is really inspiring. Now, it's not going to fix your whole life and whatnot, but there are always gems and rays of sunshine that you can take from a book like this, and it's pretty fantastic so far, and I'm really enjoying it. I had talked about recently in another video about how I wanted to get more into manga, and I had put a post on Instagram, and a couple people gave me some suggestions, and so I got one of those from the library, and it's called Ninjago Holograph, and I can't remember who suggested this to me, but I will look it up on Instagram, and I'll put it up here of who suggested it and say thank you. Thank you to the person who suggested this, because I'm going to check this out very soon. I don't know if this tells you what it's about. Oh yes, it does. This one is, let's see, what does it say? How many pages? Is there no page numbers? There's no page numbers. About that thick. Shouldn't take me too long to read. So this says, butterflies ominously proliferate as children whisper rumors of a mysterious creature lurking in the tunnel behind the school. All right, that's good. Creatures in tunnels, yes. To appease its wrath, they decide to offer it a sacrifice, a human one. I mean, that seems the obvious solution. Let's be honest. Or not. I don't know. But this is only the beginning of Ninjago Holograph, which takes place in 2 separate timelines. It involves the suicidal Amahiko, Kota, the love-struck bully, their teacher, Miss Sakaki, whose heavily bandaged face remains a mystery, and many more brothers, sisters, parents, co-workers, teachers, aggressors, and victims, who are all inextricably linked to one another. 10 years later, all will have to face what they've done or suffered through, and maybe the end of the world. Well, that sounds really weird and wacky, and I look forward to getting into this. My library has a pretty decent selection of manga, but like as I've said, I didn't know where to start. So suggestions are super helpful. If anyone has any manga they'd like to suggest that they like a lot, let me know down in the comments. I may not get to them immediately, but slowly but surely, I want to read at least like 1 or 2 a month. Okay, and so another book that I picked up that I've been meaning to get for a while, and I've heard such good things about it, that is Lone Women by Victor Laval. I had read his book, The Ballad of Black Tom. I thought it was pretty fantastic, so I'm pretty excited about this one. Let's have some story time with Sin, and we'll tell you what it's all about. Adelaide Henry carries an enormous steamer trunk with her wherever she goes. It's locked at all times because whenever Adelaide opens the trunk, people disappear. Mysterious. The year is 1915, and Adelaide is in trouble. Her secret sin killed her parents, forcing her to flee California in a hellfire rush and make her way to Montana as a homesteader, dragging the trunk with her at every stop. She will become one of the lone women, taking advantage of the government's offer of free land for those who can tame it. Except that Adelaide isn't alone. And the secret that she so desperately tried to lock away might be the only thing that will help her survive in harsh territory. That sounds pretty good. I can't wait to get into it. This one we're gonna read really, really soon. I'm excited. I love books. Okay. This next book I picked up on a whim, and I can't remember if maybe I did see it on Instagram. Maybe. And that is called We Are a Haunting, and that is by Tyreek White. I like books about hauntings, so I saw that. I thought the cover art was kind of neat, and so I decided to give this one a whirl. So let's find out about it. Look at this flyaway hair right here. What is it doing? I tried to put wax in it to keep it down, but my hair does what it wants. Whatever. In 1980s Brooklyn, Key is enchanted with her world, glowing with her dreams. A charming and tender doula serving the black women of her East New York neighborhood. She lives, like her mother, among the departed and learns to speak to them and for them. Okay, I'm in. Her untimely death leaves behind her mother Audrey, who was on the verge of losing their public housing apartment that they once shared. Coley, or Kali, I'm not sure how to say that, Key's grieving son, soon learns that he too has inherited this sacred gift and begins to slip into the liminal space between the living and the dead on his journey to self-realization. In the present, an expulsion from school forces Coley across town, where feeling increasingly detached and disenchanted with the condition of his community, he begins to realize he must ultimately be accountable to the place he is from. After college, having forged an understanding of friendship, kinship, community, and how to foster love in places where it seems impossible, Coley returns to East New York to work towards addressing structural neglect in the crumbling blocks of New York City public housing he was born to. So that sounds pretty good, and I'm looking forward to reading that one too. You Are a Haunting by Tyreek White. If you are a fan of videos where I talk about multiple books that I've read, next video coming up will be another video about that, so stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff. Go check out the link below for merch. Shameless plug. Bye.